Hey there, Wendy here with Jazzydoodledesigns, and today we're going to go through all of the coloring pages that I colored in August. And I colored, 8 plus a 2-page spread. So let's dive in. So first up, I did a couple in Benny Blue. Y'all know I love me some Benny Blue. Zoom in just a little bit. So I did this with Jazzydoodle London pencils, and I think it turned out really good. I love doing these pictures because they're just really straightforward. It's not like a Kirby book or a Joanna Basford with a lot of big details. I like that these are just nice big images that are fun to color. So the second one I did, I used the same pencils in Jazzydoodle London, and I did this cute little Batman. Isn't he adorable? I just love it. So that's it for Benny. Next up, in the Symphony of Cute Animals by Kanoko Agusa, I did this one, and it is a color along on the channel. Back out just a little. And I used Inktense pencils and Polychromos colored pencils on this, and I really like how it turned out. I was going for a night scene. It didn't turn out exactly the way I pictured it in my mind. I pictured everything having more of a blue cast, but in the end, this is how it turned out, and I like it. I just think they're so adorable. So the next one is Tales from the Forest Kingdom. And like all of these color alongs that are on the channel, you guys picked the book, the pencils, and the medium. So this one was also done with Inktense and Polychromos colored pencils. And this one I named Catching Stars. I just, this little rabbit, and I don't know, she's maybe a little elf girl, and they're catching the stars. And so there is a full color along on the channel of this one as well. So you can check that out if you're interested. I even do a paint spill. So my Posca, you know how when you prime them, the first time, not every time, but the first time you have to push it in. Well, a blob came out, and I had done it off to the side on a piece of paper. Well, what I didn't know is that my paper towel had gotten into that paper with the little blobs. So when I didn't like this line here, so I wanted to put some Posca and just see if I liked it. And I decided I didn't, and I grabbed that paper towel to wipe off the Posca, and it had blue Posca on it, and it smeared it. And I was able to use some, I believe I used Zest It, but I used some Zest It and a paper towel, and I was able to remove it. Now, I think, in full disclosure, I think the reason it was successful is that it was still somewhat wet. I don't know that that would work if you spilled Posca and it dried, and then you tried to remove it. I don't know that it might. I don't know. It's not something I've tried. This was just something that happened. And it's all in the color along because I was filming it. So I kept it in there just so that you could see, what an idiot I am. No, I'm just kidding. But you could see that it can be done. So this will be interesting to figure out how I'm going to color this page and cover up the blue Posca on that side. So if you've been on my channel before, you know I really like this Disney book. I like all things Disney anyway, but I also like the fact that they basically tell you how to color, what colors to use. I think it challenges my sense of, can I figure it, can I figure out how to duplicate this? And while I'm not 100% successful in the sense that this is a little more blue-green and this is a little more green-green, overall, I'm happy with the result. Now, what I will tell you that I thought was interesting was I used Inktense and Dick Blick pencils on this one, and I was really pleased with how well the book held up. I have literally sprayed every page. I just spent like an hour one day outside, and I would spray this with a workable fixative, let it dry, flip the page, spray with a workable fixative. So all of this book is primed and ready to be colored, because I find this paper to be a little bit slick, and I find that when I used a workable fixative, which I just had some Grumbacher from literally like 2009, I think it says on the can, but it still works a treat, so why not? So I don't know if that helps protect the page or not, so keep that in mind if you decide to try it in your books. But I used Inktense on this one, and I used Inktense on this one. I am getting better at writing down what mediums I use, because these are usually couch colorings. I'm not filming, and so I'm kind of bad about, I just use whatever is at hand, or whatever I think has a good palette for the picture that I'm doing. But I really enjoyed using the Inktense in this. And then on this next one, this one, I used Neocolor 2 and Prismacolor pencils. And I think that turned out really well. In fact, up here, this is all just Neocolor 2 in the mountains, because I liked how it presented. Now, the rest of this I went over with colored pencil, but you really wouldn't have to if you didn't want to. So don't be afraid to experiment in your books. But anyway, so that's what I've done in this book. Well, at least in August. Now, I finally decided I better start working in this book. This is Tatiana Bogoma Stilova. And this is the Nice Little Towns book 1, 2, and 3. And when I purchased this, I didn't realize they'd be all in one book. But I did color this page. The hard part with having so much in one book is that now I have a big gap here, so I just put another book underneath this. But I honestly don't, I think this is Prismacolor, but I won't swear to it. But I enjoyed coloring this one. And sometimes you just gotta have a nice, simple color. And I enjoyed doing that. Okay, before we do my last one, please consider subscribing to my channel. It's free, and I do all things adult coloring related. I have color alongs, short tutorials, book flip throughs, product reviews, you name it, and I'd really love to see you there. Okay, so for the grand finale, we have Kirby Rosanna's Worlds Within Worlds. So this was my 2-page spread in, World Within Worlds, Kirby Rosanna's. I really enjoy working in Kirby's books, and I feel like he gives us a lot of direction. I used Inktense pencils and Prismacolor pencils, and then I used a color shift on the scales. move it around so that you can see. Now, I also, let me zoom in a little bit. I also did gold around the tips. So I hope that all of that color shift and shimmer and sheen is coming through. But I really enjoyed how this page turned out. I was going to do it as a color along, but it was a lot. And the thing of it is with something like this, a lot of it is very repetitive. So instead what I did is I did a short video on the channel on how I did the scales, because I think that's probably the part you're most interested in. And it's only maybe 5 minutes long, but it does show how I use the ink tints and how I use the color shift to get the beautiful shimmer and sheen. So that's it for August. I appreciate you popping in, and I'll see you on the next one.